Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, October 15. Government is taking another step to improve its management of the COVID-19 pandemic with plans to procure supplies of the antiviral drug remdesivir for the treatment of coronavirus patients in public facilities. The Ministry of Health and Wellness says the drug will be purchased through the National Health Fund to ensure greater access. In a statement on its website, the Health Ministry says this decision is based on the available scientific evidence, which shows that remdesivir has reduced the length of in-hospital stay by 5 days and lowered mortality rates by 4%. But the ministry cautions that clinical trials are still ongoing, and so far, the drug has not received full approval in any country and is being administered under emergency use authorization in some nations. In Jamaica, the drug's use will be allowed under the controls of a study or under an emergency license, in keeping with the authority granted to the Minister of Health under the Food and Drug Regulation of 1975, Regulation Number 73. The ministry has stipulated that prescribing and administering the drug must comply with certain conditions. Specifically, informed consent must be obtained from the patient, and inventory control systems must be put in place at the facilities to ensure that records of the dispensed product and patient information are maintained, similar to that used for controlled substances. In addition, the drug is only to be administered to hospitalized patients who are closely monitored, and serious adverse events must be tracked and reported to the Pharmacovigilance Unit of the Standards and Regulations Division of the Health Ministry. The reports are to be made using the FarmWatch Drug Monitoring Form located on the ministry's website. Clinical outcome reports must also be submitted to the Health Services Planning and Integration Branch of the ministry. In other news, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says investors continue to show confidence in the Jamaican market. He adds that 90% of previously planned projects are still on target despite the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Among those slated to come on stream are a 1,700-room hotel in St. James, 2,000 rooms in Green Island, Hanover, and tourism development programs for Kingston and Port Royal.
This show of confidence in Jamaica by investors has helped to boost our image as a leading tourist destination. In addition, these investments are creating job opportunities for Jamaicans and further fueling the expansion and diversification of our tourism product.
Minister Bartlett was speaking at the recent reopening of the 49-suite Zoetry Hotel in St. James. He said government was working to create an environment that could attract and foster premium investments in the sector. These interventions include investment in infrastructural development, the modernization and expansion of the 2 international airports, improvement of the road network, and expansion and development of Jamaica's cruise ship piers. Meanwhile, approximately $130 million will be spent on JAMPRO's Export Max 3 program over the 3-year period of 2019 to 2021 to build competitiveness and export readiness of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs. The investment will come from public and private funding. JAMPRO's president, Diane Edwards, says these partnerships will allow the 50 companies under the program to benefit from a special line of credit from the Jamaica Exim Bank through its Exporters Club program. Pointing out that the COVID-19 pandemic has caused vulnerability in regards to the stability of foreign exchange earnings, Ms. Edwards says Export Max 3 will broaden and diversify the number of players and products in the market.
So that diversification gives you a lot more stability, because as you know, if you've got 4 or 5 pillars to your business, you're in a lot better shape than if you only have one client that is the majority of your business. So Export Max really situates itself in the whole pivot to diversification of the economy and diversification of export markets and diversification of the number of companies who are involved in export.
Chief Executive Officer of the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, Valerie Vera, adds that MSMEs must seize the opportunity to establish themselves as important players in the export market.
For the MSMEs, I think it's critical to ensure that they understand that they can be a part of an export program. They can earn in the global market space if they do it right, if they organize themselves right. and be prepared to work and do what is required in that market.
Mining communities across the island are set to benefit from more than $60 million being allocated under the Bauxite Community Development Program. Minister of Transport and Mining Robert Montague says this is to assist with the creation of sustainable projects to ensure there is life after bauxite. Speaking at the recent launch, the minister insisted that these projects should not be created without community consultations, and the input of the Bauxite Community Councils must be reflected in the final decisions. The Bauxite Community Development Program was formed in 1996 to facilitate the reinvestment of earnings from the bauxite or alumina industry in communities affected by mining operations. So far, more than 300 community projects have been implemented at a cost of over $580 million. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security took another step to formalize the services of domestic workers when it signed a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, with the Jamaica Household Workers Union yesterday. The MOU allows for the promotion of the services of the Ministry's Labour Market Information System, LMIS, among members of the union.
Under this MOU, the Labour Market Information System will provide, as I understand it, the main desktop computers for use of the LMIS portal at the Jamaica Household Workers Union. These facilities, I expect, will be fully utilized to the benefit of the members and to the wider Jamaica.
Through LMIS, employers can post job openings and search for matching candidates, while job seekers can post resumes and apply for jobs online. The Labour Ministry will manage the system and train union members in its use. The ministry will also assist the union in finding suitable candidates for vacancies posted on the LMIS. And finally, this year's ceremony of investiture and presentation of national honors and awards will be a virtual event in keeping with government's social distance protocol to limit potential for the spread of COVID-19. In place of the usual live function at King's House, the National Heroes Day event will have two components. There is to be a live stream of the floral tribute in honor of our national heroes, broadcast from National Heroes Park, beginning at 8:30 a.m. on national television and social media. The second component is a pre-packaged production featuring the award recipients being honored this year, a congratulatory message by the Governor-General, and remarks on behalf of the award recipients offered by Professor Orlando Patterson. 199 Jamaicans will be honored with various awards recognizing their contribution to national development in a number of areas. The presentations will be interspersed with performances by well-known Jamaican artists. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.